Moon.
Hello everyone, this is no longer Cello of Orion, it is actually now Galactic Cello, since I did say I would change my name eventually, and this is Space News episode 25. Now that I don't really have any kind of announcements at all, aside from the fact to just kind of keep a lookout for the Washington DC video, blah blah blah, we get it. I'm trying to make this go as soon as possible because I'm kind of tired and I had been through a little bit of a rough day today, so, try and make this as soon as I could with also maybe a little bit of facts about this as well. So without further ado, let's blast off. Now, like a lot of episodes, I only really have one topic to share, and that is the Beaver Blood Moon of November. Now, as almost every full moon, this full moon will last for like 1 to 3 days, but the main day where it's going to be full, and also when you'll see the blood moon, is on November 8th at 11:02 GMT or 6:02 AM EST. Now, the moon for November is known as the Beaver Moon. And the Beaver Moon is basically, like almost every full moon, almost, if you count September as mainly being more as the equinox. The Beaver Moon is essentially originating from North American cultures. So November is basically the time where beavers would start building up dams and prepare for the cold days in hell that are winter. Another theory suggests that during November, hunters would traditionally set up beaver traps to get their fur. Now, as usual, North American cultures are not the only fans that have names for this moon. There are a few other fans of this moon as well. In Chinese culture, this is called the white moon. Celtics call it the dark moon. Wiccan call it the snow moon. Cherokee would call it the trading moon. And pretty much the southern hemisphere, which would usually have a few names, call it corn moon, milk moon, flower moon, and the hare moon. There are a few sky objects that will be near the moon as well. Apparently, when the moon will become full on November 8th, it will actually pass by right near the planet Uranus, and maybe even a few observers might even see it occultate the planet, which simply means just to kind of cover up the planet from view. On the very next day, there's also going to be perhaps one of my favorite star clusters, the Pleiades star cluster in Taurus, that'll be flickering right near the moon. Now, if you happen to miss this full moon, don't worry, the last and final full moon of the year will actually come a month from tomorrow, on December 8th. And this full moon will be known as the cold moon. Expect another episode relating to that moon, as pretty much with all of the episodes of Space News. Now, you may have noticed that I said the word blood in the Blood Beaver Moon. That's right, this is the second lunar eclipse of the year. So the rest of this video is just kind of going to give you a retrospect on like what lunar eclipses are and how you can see this one. Are you ready? I don't care. Here we go. So essentially, to just kind of give you the definition, a lunar eclipse is basically the astronomical event in which the Earth eclipses the moon. It's essentially the opposite of a solar eclipse, where the moon is in front of the Earth, and thus cover up the sun. Lunar eclipses are pretty cool to look at, and I was able to take a look at the lunar eclipse that happened in May a few months ago. In my opinion, all parts of a lunar eclipse are spectacular, but the most spectacular is when the moon reaches totality in Earth's shadow. When the moon is in the penumbra, which is the larger part of Earth's shadow, that's when the moon would start to get slightly darker and darker and darker. But then after some time, it will reach the umbra, the smaller part of Earth's shadow. When it reaches that, you'd expect that the moon would be out of sight. Well, guess what? You're wrong. Usually, when the moon passes inside of Earth's umbra, it would usually be given a red-orangish hue to it. This is mainly because that there is relatively little sunlight that is entering inside of Earth's shadow and going onto the moon. And for the ones that do get onto the moon, the only color of light that would reach in there would be red light, thus blood moon. So that will just kind of give you a retrospect on what eclipses kind of look like. Now here's a guide so you can figure out how you can see the Blood Beaver Moon. Not gonna lie, I kind of find it morbid a little bit how it's called the Blood Beaver Moon, but I digress. So as mentioned, the full moon would happen on November 8th, and this is when the lunar eclipse will begin. If you want to see it, though, you'll have to wake up in the early morning. So the first phase that will set in is known as the penumbral phase, which is when the moon will start to enter the penumbral shadow of Earth. While invisible to the naked eye, it will start at 8:02 GMT. After some time later on, the partial phase will begin, and this is probably the part where you can start observing. This is when the moon actually starts to darken up a little bit. It will occur at 9:09 GMT. Finally, the full phase would begin, and that will come at 10:16 GMT. This is also the part where the moon will have its reddish hue and then will be pronounced as the blood moon. But don't leave just yet, because now you get to see the moon come back to its original appearance. The second partial phase will begin at 11:41 GMT, and that is where the full phase ends. And then soon after that, the penumbral phase, the second, will come at 12:49 GMT. And the entire event as a whole will end at 13:56 GMT, which in Eastern Standard Time would basically be 8:56 a.m. Apparently, the lunar eclipse can be seen from all around the world as well. There is the United States of America, of course, but there's also other places in the world like Australia and India that can be seen as well. I'm not necessarily going to cover the times and the time zones for countries like that, because that might make this a little too long. So, mainly just kind of take my time with a grain of salt and just say that it's just from the United States. So, mainly just come here if you want to refer to my time, I guess. So, that seems to be about it for the Beaver Moon and also its lunar eclipse, which, for me, I will definitely be able to see. So that's just kind of it for this video. My god, man. So that's just kind of it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And also click on the notification bell so you can be notified for when I make a new video. So mainly that's just about it. So thank you all for watching. And as always, keep on stargazing.